Alright folks, welcome to a very short video lesson on 4-5. Just 3 more graphing examples for you on sine and cosine if you'd like them. Okay? I'll just remind you right now when we talk about a function, okay, a sine or cosine function, there are 4 important variables, the a, the p, the h, and the k. The a tells us our vertical stretch. In trigonometry, we call it the amplitude. So this is our vertical stretch. It tells us how tall our wave is. Okay, it's the vertical stretch. The B, of course, is the horizontal compression. More importantly, it tells us the period of my graph, compression. Okay, it tells us the period of the graph using this formula right here, which is 2 pi divided by p. This letter right here is going to tell us the period of the graph. Our phase shift, of course, is the horizontal shift. Most importantly, our period is going to start using this equation, and our period is going to end using that equation right here. And our climb, of course, the k, is our vertical shift. It moves the graph either up or down according to what it is. So looking at this picture, this problem right here, my a is 3, my amplitude is 3, my p is 2. We'll talk about the period in one quick sec. My h and k, both I do not see, so those are both 0. There is no shifts. There are no shifts. So our period is going to be 2 pi divided by our p, which in this case is 2. We can now see, I can cancel those 2's, and my period is pi. So looking down at my graph here, knowing that my amplitude is 3, I'm going to draw a quick little cosine, one period of a cosine. Okay. Notice I'm taking my cosine curve and plotting it so that there are 4 parts. There's always 4 pieces of a period of a trigonometric function, one for each quadrant in our graph. Okay, so we have our period divided up into 4 equal pieces. I know in this particular case that my amplitude was 3, so this goes from positive 3 down here to negative 3 on the y. And my period was pi, so this total distance on the x is going to go from 0 to pi. Now, because my period is pi, I can chop that pi up into 4 pieces. So I'm going to divide my period, pi, by 4, and I get pi over 4. So each of these pieces now is going to move from 0 to pi over 4, 1 pi over 4. This piece right here is 2 pi over 4, which is 1/2 pi. This piece right here is 3 pi over 4. And of course, this piece is 4 pi over 4, or pi. Okay? So right now, if I wanted to, I can label each of my critical points, which is here, 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 and here, with its ordered pairs. Let's do that in grayish. So this point right here is 0, 3. This point right here is going to be pi over 4, 0. This point right here is going to be pi over 2, neg 3. And this point right here is 3 pi over 4, 0. And this last point right here, this is going to be pi, 3. So here are my ordered pairs for each of my critical points. Okay, let's try another one. We're looking at this one. My amplitude now is 1/3. My P is 1/4. My H is still 0. There's nothing in there. And my K, in this case, is 1. So I have a climb of 1. Looking at my period now, I'm going to use the formula 2 pi over P is equal to my period. So I have really 2 pi divided by 1/4. I have a little poem. When dividing fractions, don't ask why. Flip the bottom one over and multiply. So I can take 2 pi over 1 times 4 over 1, the reciprocal of 1/4. And notice now that my period is 8 pi. So I'm going to draw a quick sine curve. And I'm not even going to worry about where I am on the graph, but a sine curve looks like this. Okay? I know that this total distance down here is going to be 8 pi. Let me just get a little room here. That's 8 pi. And now be careful. The top typically and the bottom would be 1/3 and -1/3. But the whole graph got moved up. So I'm going to add 1. I wrote -1 and 1/3. This is -1/3. Okay. The whole graph moved up 1. So this is actually going to be 1 and 1/3. And this is going to be positive 2/3 because -1/3 plus 1 is 2/3. So, I'm going to chop up my period into 4 equal pieces. 8 pi divided by 4 is equal to 2 pi. So each of these pieces are 2 pi long. I can label my points. This is going to be 0, 0 right here. In red, this point here is going to be 2 pi, 1 and 1/3. In green, this guy right here is going to be 4 pi, 0. I'm sorry, 1. I missed both of these. This should be 1. And this, of course, is going to be 1 as well. I moved everything up 1. My midline moved up 1. This guy right here, we'll do that in black. This is 6 pi, negative positive 2/3. Sorry, can't think here. And my last point right here in green, this is going to be 8 pi, 1. And there we go. Okay, looking at this last one, this is definitely quite a tough one. My A is -4. Okay, my P in this case is 2/3. I do have a horizontal shift. Okay, my H, the unfactored form is pi over 3, and we'll figure out what that means in a minute. And my K is actually nicely 0. Okay, so right away I now know my period is going to be 2 pi divided by 2/3, which is now equal to 2 pi over 1 times the reciprocal of 2/3, 3/2. So it looks like I have 6 pi over 2, or I can cancel that, and I have 3 pi. My period is 3 pi. And now my starting point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the formula px minus h is equal to 0, and solve that for x to find the starting point of my graph. Okay? So, in other words, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 2/3 x minus pi over 3 is equal to 0, and solve that for x. So what I'm going to do here is add the pi over 3 to both sides. So it looks like I have now 2/3 x is equal to pi over 3. I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 2/3, which is 3/2. 1x is equal to pi over 2. So I have a couple important things to keep in mind here. My total period is 3 pi, and my starting point of my graph is pi over 2. So I'm going to go down here and not worry about where I am on the graph. I'm just going to draw, I'm dealing with a sign. In fact, I'm dealing with a negative sign. So I'm going to draw one negative sine curve. Okay? And I know that my amplitude, I had no climb, so my amplitude is 4. So this top point is 4, and this bottom point is negative 4. Okay, and I also know that this total length right here is 3 pi, but here's the fun part. It starts at pi over 2. So this first ordered pair is going to be pi over 2, comma, 0. My other critical points, it's the last one. Sometimes it's easier to do the first and the last together. That's going to be 3 pi later. So what's 3 pi plus pi over 2? That's going to be 3.5 pi, which is, of course, 7 halves pi. 7 pi over 2, comma 0. There's that critical point right there. All right? The next one in green, let's go, let's look at this guy, and this guy, and this guy, okay? This guy right here, what we need to do is we need to add 3 pi and divide, take the 3 pi back here, and divide by 4. So we need to add 3/4 pi to 1/2 pi, which again, you're just doing a little fraction work. We're going to do 1/2 pi plus 3/4 pi is going to be 5/4 pi. So this ordered pair right here is 5 pi over 4, comma, negative 4, because we go all the way down to negative 4. This is, I'm going to add again 3/4 pi to that, so 5 pi over 4 plus 3 pi over 4 is 8 pi over 4, which of course is 2 pi. So this ordered pair right here is 2 pi, comma, 0. And once again, need to add 3/4 pi. So 2 3/4 pi. So this is 2 3/4 pi. Never enough room, which is now 11 pi over 4, comma, positive 4. And there is my last critical point. And there you have it. That's a tough one.